Broadcasting live from the Temple of Epiphany on the plain of Theros, this is Tap Tap Concede. We have new temples now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had new temples when you heard the last episode, but when we recorded the last episode, we didn't have them, so we did Temple of the False God for...
We're going to run out of temples.
For lols. Well, yeah,
I
but
mean,
then we can
we
just go...
will.
But we didn't even run out of plane chase planes when we switched to doing the temples. It just sort of... We did.
Maybe next we could do creature tokens.
Interestingly, we only know two of the Journey into Nyx. Oh, no, there are only two.
Yeah, there's only two.
Derp. I knew that.
So it was
Temple of Epiphany and Temple
4,
of...
2?
No, it was
Two to
5, 3, 2.
Oh.
They did 5 in Theros,
Right.
and then 3 in Journey, and then... No, 3 in Born of the Gods and 2 in Journey.
Interesting way to split it up.
Yeah.
Well,
So, hey, everybody. Welcome to Tap Tap Concede. I'm Graham. With me this week is
huh?
Alex. That's Alex.
Yeah, hi.
And Cam is back.
Hi.
And Kathleen's here.
Woot!
And we are going to talk about some
Spoilers.
Journey into Nyx spoilers, because it's spoiler season.
Spoilers.
It's one of the many, many Christmases that Magic players get every
Yes,
year.
the one kind of fruit that's better when spoiled.
Exactly. But first, we're gonna do a crack-a-pack, to which we are adding some new additions this week. We have 2 packs of Cold Snap going into the mix. Hey TTC, hope you'll open a foil Dark Depths or Counterbalance.
Oh, yeah.
Greetings from Trondheim, Norway. Keep on scrubbin'. Regards, Morton.
Norway.
yeah.
The frozen north sending us cold snap packs. How appropriate.
Yeah, so we'll just sort of filter those in. And we also have from Rob, who is Gek Yoryu on the Twitch chat room, we have a pack of Saviors of Kamigawa in Chinese.
Ooh.
Which is
How
pretty
multicultural.
Fun, and he says, hope you enjoy the pack and get good stuffs. And so do we. So I guess I will put that sort of there. So how many do we have now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. We have 11.
Oh.
So well, I guess I'll tell you what then. I'll just take out one of the packs of Cold Snap and we'll put that in.
These.
We'll put that in when we use the other pack of Cold Snap. So, Cam, you want to roll our D10 of Strange Pack? And
No
we'll
whammies.
see what we open.
Danny needs a new sort of wounding.
Sort of wounding.
8, which is oh, baby.
What is it?
Oh, Future Sight.
James isn't here.
One time Goyf.
Time for Future Sight. We just did a Future Sight draft on.
can't
All right, if we
on the
open a
stream.
Goyf,
What do we do?
Fist fight.
Yeah.
no, we
Double
end
fist
the
fight.
podcast quietly. We say thank you for tuning in to Tap Tap Concede.
Move to the Turks and Caicos.
Yeah.
No. Then we turn off the cameras and then we fist fight.
Ah, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Nobody needs to see that.
No.
The victor comes back.
Because we're going to play dirty.
No, that's fine because I've already
dead
poisoned all of you.
Well, no, Graham's at a distinct disadvantage here on not having glasses for the eye poking round.
It's true. I'm also stuck sort of like...
Like in elbow
No,
shot
we would
range,
have to
just,
move.
Like, uppercut.
We would have to move the fight outside. I mean, there's a lot of equipment in here. The survivor will need to use it.
Yeah. So Future Sight was part of the Time Spiral block.
Which was real weird.
So briefly to fill you in, so they did these 3 sets, which are super crazy. They did Time Spiral, Planar Chaos, and Future Sight.
Yeah.
And Time Spiral had cards that sort of was like a look back at Magic. Like they actually reprinted. They had like some Time Spiral bonus cards that were actually like reprinting of old cards in like with their old art in the old border, and they had mechanics like flanking and rampage and like sort of older mechanics. In Planar Chaos, you get the plane shifted cards, which you will have maybe seen at some point, which is taking a card from one color that's very clearly one color, and then altering the border of the card and moving it into another color. So, for example, Brute Force, which was in Modern Masters.
Yeah, it's giant growth,
Yeah.
only it's in red now.
Yeah, or Manatithe was Force Spike in white.
Yeah, or Sarah Sphinx.
Right,
Was
yes. The
Sarah
Sarah
Angel.
Yeah,
as
blue Sarah Angel.
Blue Sarah Angel.
Yeah.
It's like blue doesn't get vigilance.
And then in Future Sight, which is this set, there was sort of a theorized future of Magic, including like a new card frame for some of the cards and, new mechanics that maybe we'll do at some point in the future, and some of which they have. and just
And some which we will probably never see,
yeah,
like Goblin Rigger.
yeah, exactly. Like
I don't think we're going to
contraptions.
assemble any contraptions.
I could see them doing delve at some point.
Delve is a great mechanic.
Everyone thought they were going to do delve in Innistrad. They were
Yeah,
like,
that
"Oh,
would've
delve," because it's graveyard matters. But anyway, so the point is, this is Future Sight.
So when did this set come out?
Future Sight came out in
Like mid 2000s.
2007,
Yeah, like the design of the future border cards is so like
mid 2000s.
yeah, mid 2000s. It's
Yeah.
great.
What I do like about the future border cards is they're designed so that the mana cost is like on the left side of the cards. When you're fanning the cards, the way that I fan cards at least, you get all the mana symbols there, which was an intentional thing. But anyway, here's our first card, Grave Peril. 1 and a black for an enchantment. When a non-black creature comes into play, sacrifice Grave Peril. If you do, destroy that creature.
So it's like a Doomblade booby trap.
Yeah, they did a cycle of these.
Is it you may or is it
No, you
sacrifice?
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you sacrifice it. Yeah, they did a cycle of the seals in Planar Chaos, and there was like the seal of Primordium, for example, was 1 and a green, an enchantment that just sits there and does nothing, but you can sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. So it's like a naturalize on layaway that they know about. And there was one that was like a lightning bolt in red, and there was a whole sort
Yeah,
of cycle.
Seal
of
of
these.
Fire, Seal of
I
Fate.
don't know about
Yeah.
that because if I saw that sitting out there, I'd just play something terrible.
Well, exactly. Like you have to play around it because
Yeah.
it's like
It's a
there's
different.
this sort of Damocles sitting there. It's like, well, I'm not going to play this stuff because I can't.
But I don't know if I would run this because it lets my opponent play around it. I mean, to a certain extent,
but if
obviously.
but if you're disrupting their play,
Then
like
it's good.
it has a different function than
Yeah.
naturalize, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of interesting.
You
Anyway,
lose the surprise.
so the downside to Grave Peril is that in this case they can easily play around it because they can play any creature, and you have to sacrifice this. So-
Grave Peril, not the other thing.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
So yeah, no, this one seems kind of. I don't know about that.
Right, and the thing is, like, yeah, you run this out and it only costs 2 mana, but like, are you gonna get value off it?
I don't
no,
know.
probably not.
that is a lot of mechanics on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards with a lot of text in this set. Marshalling Cry, 1 white for a sorcery. It's a sorcery. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and vigilance until end of turn. It also has cycling 2, which means you can pay 2 and discard it to draw a card, and flashback 3 and a white.
Oh yeah.
So you can cycle it, put it in the bin, and flash it back, and you still get some amount of value off it.
combos.
Or if you have 7 mana, you can cast it and flash it back, and all your creatures get +2/+2 and double vigilance.
Yeah.
Super
They
vigilant.
attack so hard they flip over and they turn into morph creatures.
Wow.
Oh, this guy also has a lot of text. Kavu Primarch. He's a 3/3 for 3 and a green
Okay.
with Convoke,
Oh, that was in this set, or was it?
which was from Ravnica.
Oh, so did this
Future
show
Sight
up
was
here?
also like they basically there's like 45 mechanics across this block. And like more than half of them were brand new. Like this block
bad
like
for new players.
this block like doubled the number of Magic mechanics, I think. I don't know. Paul listens to more of the Drive to Work podcast than I do. Maybe he remembers Mark Rosewater talking about this. But
So is this the first set that Convoke showed up in, and then it showed up in Ravnica later?
No, Ravnica
Or-
came
Ravnica-
printed in like 2000.
Oh,
yeah, Ravnica was first.
5
so.
or
Well,
something.
Yeah.
So anyway, Convoke is each creature you tap while playing the spell reduces its total cost by 1 colorless or by 1 mana of that creature's color.
So if you tap 4 other creatures, one of which is green, you can play this guy for free, but you're also
Yes.
tapping out your whole board.
Yes. It's pretty sweet, though.
But if
So-
you have an irrelevant
It's
one,
teamwork.
like 2/2 sitting around, that's not going to do anything anyhow.
Yeah. So he's a 3/3 for 4 with Convoke, which is probably just fine.
Yeah.
But he also has Kicker for 4.
which you
and-
can also Convoke.
I believe so. You may pay an additional 4 as you play the spell. Kicker, I don't think
No.
I don't think
works.
you can convoke
I don't think
the
you can
kicker.
pay for the Convoke with the Kicker, no. Maybe I'm wrong. If the Kicker cost was paid, Kavu Primarch comes into play with 4 +1/+1 counters on it.
Bigger.
Interesting.
So you get a 3/3 for 4 or a 7/7 for 8. But you
Or a
could
7/7 for 4.
You could get 7/7 for 4, paying the Kicker with mana and the 4 with creatures. That seems pretty all right.
Hey!
Hey, it's 4C with the creepy art. 4C is 3 and a blue sorcery, Scry 4 and then draw 2 cards.
Is this the first time Scry appeared?
I don't know.
Because I remember Scry from Zendikar, which came after Future Sight.
No, not Zendikar.
It was in
in
M12.
Yeah, it was in M. You got to move
Or-
closer
Sorry,
to the.
yeah, M12.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Ken.
this is double preordained.
Yep.
Yeah, it is, which is more expensive, but it's still really, really good.
I
Yeah.
like this card a lot.
I like playing with this card. It digs so
yeah,
deep.
it digs 6 cards into your deck.
Yeah.
If you want it to.
Wow. Emberwild,
This guy.
Emberwild Augur. He is a 2/1 for 1 and a red, so he's a piker. He is a goblin shaman, and you can sacrifice him to deal 3 damage to target player. Play this ability only during your upkeep.
This was part of a cycle. They did a bunch of creatures that would have an ability if you sacrifice them, but you could only do it during your upkeep.
Yeah, we were playing against one on the draft yesterday it was a 1/3 with shadow in white, and you could sack it to gain 4 life.
Yeah.
But
This-
again, only during your upkeep.
Yeah, this guy's almost good in goblins.
Oh, he is a goblin. Yeah, that's true. Wazow. Putrid Cyclops.
Gross.
Yeah. He's a 3/3 for 2 and a black,
That's not
which is
so
actually
bad.
really good for black. When it comes into play, scry 1. Sweet.
Okay.
Then reveal the top card of your library. Okay. Putrid Cyclops gets -X until end of turn, where X is that card's converted mana cost.
Oh.
So that's only the turn he comes into play, right?
Yeah.
So you get to scry. If it's CMC 2 or less, then you just get
And he lives.
and you want it, then you leave it on top of your library, you reveal it, you got to scry, and you get a 3/3 for 3, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, I feel
If
like
you
in
don't
practice,
want if you don't want the card, you have to bottom it. You're sort of playing with fire there.
Yeah.
The guy could just die, or maybe you really need the card that could just die.
Yeah.
Like I feel like in practice, it's just like a really awkward scry effect
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you might get a dude out of.
What's up, Paul?
Interesting ruling. If a split card is revealed
Oh,
with the scry, the -X is applied twice
Bleh.
for each side. So if like Dead Gone is revealed, it gets -1/-1 and -3/-3.
Welp.
Grody. All right.
Yeah,
It's real bad.
Ooh, cool. Something with a new border.
Ooh.
Flowstone Embrace. Oh, we're right. These are the auras that tap.
What?
This was a weird thing it did. So Flowstone Embrace is 1 and a red for an enchantment creature aura. Tap the aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/-2 until end of turn.
What?
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Yeah, that auras that tap was a weird thing that they did in Future Sight.
Because why not?
So if you have a opponent's creature with toughness 2, you cast on your opponent's creature and tap the aura and the creature dies. Or if you have like a 3/3,
Okay.
you put it on your creature, you attack with a 3/3. They don't block it. You're like, all right, I tap my aura.
Big
Now
pumps.
now it's a 5/1.
I
Right.
kind of dig that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Like it's
they're
a little
wacky.
goofy, but
Super goofy, but
Because
they're
you
cool.
can tap at instant speed, which is not like
Yeah.
paying for an
oh,
ability,
so
right?
by the way, these new card borders in the upper left-hand corner, there's a teeny little
Oh,
icon
yeah.
that indicates the card
Oh.
type.
Yeah, the card type. They have like the little on this one. I don't know if you can see it on the thing. It's over here. There's like a little sort of sunburst for enchantments. Creatures have like a slash. Lands have like a little, or they did have a little mountain thing. Anyway, these are the symbols that they use in like
Mythic spoiler.
on like Duels of the Planeswalkers or
Right.
on the Magic Online thing. They're just like the symbols that Magic uses for that card
Yup.
type.
Hey, it's everybody's favorite tribe.
It's a sliver. Slivers were in Future Sight as well. So this is a Frenzy Sliver in the Future Sight border. He is a 1/1 for 1 and a black, and all Sliver creatures have Frenzy 1. So Frenzy was one of the mechanics that I believe was Future Sight only and has not yet returned. But it says whenever a Sliver attacks and isn't blocked, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
Yikes.
So that's what. So Frenzy is if a creature is attacked and not blocked, it gets +X/+0, where X is the Frenzy number. That's kind of cool.
Does it stack?
I don't know.
I mean,
Different instances of
Oh,
frenzy.
if you have 2 Frenzy Slivers,
I would think it would
Do they have
stack
friendly-
because what's the thing where
the
if a
Sublime
creature
Archangel
attacks
gives
alone?
them. Oh, yeah.
Exalted.
Yeah, exalted.
Exalted stacks.
Because Sublime Archangel is creatures you control have
But
exalted.
would they just have multiple instances of Frenzy 1? And would only one Frenzy trigger when you attack?
I don't know.
Judge.
Serge will be in later. Maybe we'll have to ask him.
Oh,
Speaking of
boy.
slivers, Mesmeric Sliver with another future sight only mechanic. It is a 2/2 for 3 and a blue. And
it does actually say in the thing that abilities that slivers grant as well as power and toughness boosts are cumulative.
Oh,
Sweet.
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 However, some abilities like flying, having more than one instance doesn't actually do anything.
Right.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, Frenzy Sliver. So more than one Frenzy Sliver means they would get additional plus.
So
plus
if you
one.
had 2 frenzy slivers that attacked it and were not blocked, they would get +2/+0.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So the Mesmeric Sliver says all slivers have, when this permanent comes into play, you may Fate Seal 1.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So Fate
That
Seal
mechanic.
was another mechanic that the only time it's shown up since Future Sight is on Jace the Mind Sculptor.
And everybody hated it.
yeah, and
Unless they weren't.
unless they were controlling Jace.
And then they were
Kidding?
like,
That was
this
a sweet ability.
Yeah, so Fate Seal is you look at the top card of an opponent's library. It's basically you scry for your opponent. You look at the top card of their library, and then you can either say, no, that's fine, you keep that, or I don't want you to draw that, and you put it on the bottom of their deck. It's basically
Although-
offensive scry.
it's the you son of a bitch mechanic.
yeah.
Also, Jace's Fate Seal isn't Fate Seal because you can do it to yourself.
Oh, right.
That's true, actually, yeah, whereas this is an opponent.
There is
Yeah.
another really good card that has Fate Seal.
Spin
Might
into
have been-
memory?
yes.
Yeah.
It's really good in Commander because you put a creature on top of its controller's library, and then you Fate Seal 2. So you ship it to the bottom.
Is it Spin into Myth?
Spin into myth.
Spin into myth.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
way to get rid of commanders.
It's just like, no, I'll never find him again.
Also, this Mesmeric Sliver looks totally rad.
Speaking
Yeah.
of speaking of mesmeric, and therefore which is of course derived from our word mesmerize. Do you guys know where the word mesmerize comes from?
Nope.
I do not.
It's from a German.
It's German doctor.
Yeah.
Mesmer,
Yeah.
Dr. Mesmer, real guy. I was
Yeah.
listening to a podcast on this.
Really?
Complete crackpot. To give you the short, this is a 10-second story. He did a lot of work, his PhD dissertation, which was apparently mostly plagiarized, which was about how the planets affect the bodily humors.
Yeah.
And did a lot of work with people with magnets and how they might help, restore blood flow.
So
or
he
some
was a
horse shit.
juggalo.
He was an idiot. But okay, so he had a patient, and he made her wear all these magnets and swallow all this iron, so he could attach magnets to her and stuff. And I don't know. Apparently, it worked, and she felt better. So instead of saying, "Wow, that magnet stuff might have some work," he concluded, "Oh, it must be me. I must have an influence over this lady." And then he moved to Paris and
Come and
started
be
hosting,
mesmerized.
mesmeric magnetism parties for wealthy, stupid people.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Oh yeah, there was a class in mesmerism in film in English. It was a film studies course, and you looked at Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and a bunch of things.
Well,
It's kind
excellent.
of a cool course.
So what's his first name? I want to say it's Franz Mesmer.
I forget.
That's a
I
good
don't know.
name.
Anyhow, look
So-
up Mesmer on Wikipedia.
It's not the most aggressive sliver, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
hey!
Hey.
That's sideboard tech from James's Black White Tokens deck.
It is
We were just talking about this card.
Patrician's Scorn. It is 3 and a white for an instant. If you played another white spell this turn, you may play Patrician's Scorn without paying its mana cost.
3 spells.
Destroy all enchantments.
Oh, that's
Also-
super good.
Greatest
Sweet
flavor text.
Flavor text.
Lady Faris's contempt of tawdry kitsch grew even more infamous after her death.
She does.
That
she
lady's
has-
my hero.
She has no patience for your tacky crap.
She's
Just this bitter, bitter ghost.
The art is her just ripping down a staircase, tearing up paintings.
Whoa, Sarcomite mirror.
Oh, so Sarcomite.
Colored artifact.
This is where colored artifacts first showed up. They were a big part of the Shards of Alara block, but this was the first instance of a colored artifact. And it's a Sarcomite mirror. He's 2 and a blue for a 2/1. And for 2 colorless, he gains flying until end of turn. And for 2 and sacrifice him, draw a card. That's pretty darn cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
And he was he reprinted somewhere? He was reprinted because I've seen him with a modern frame. I believe he was reprinted in one of the dual decks or something.
Plane
or
chase.
in Plane Chase. Right. There we go. But he looks so
More like
badass.
Snarkomite mirror. This set had really cool art.
Oh, speaking of cool flavor text. Oh, there's a spider on the.
That's a humongous spider.
It's not that big.
Well,
It's like the size of a Kaiser roll.
Up by the.
Kaiser roll.
It's up by the light, Paul. It's behind the light.
It's behind the light.
Don't even worry about
It's
it.
gonna come down.
A Kaiser roll? It's like smaller than this detail.
It absolutely is not. That's just the size of its body, and then there's the legs, and then like the mandibles and the wings.
And the tendrils.
Speaking of the
Tentacles.
wings,
The shadow it casts.
the flavor
And the not quite soft footsteps. Whomp.
the flavor text on don't hit the table. The flavor text on
That's the spider.
okay. The flavor text on the Sarcomere mirror is a horrible sight, yes, but the sounds, its twanging tendons and grinding gears are almost musical.
Can you imagine what that would sound like?
It
Like
probably
an organ
sounds like
grinder, or-
I was gonna say like a Square Pusher album, maybe.
All right. Ravaging Riftworm, which is another card with a butt ton of text. It is a 6/6 for 1 green.
Okay, so what's the drawback, Graham?
Well, it has Vanishing 2.
Ugh.
So what Vanishing 2 does... Alex, you close the window. Our neighbors decided that now is a perfect time to pull out the weed whacker. That's better. Vanishing 2, boy, those are thick windows, means that it comes into play with 2 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter, and when the last one is removed, you sacrifice it. So you play it, and it has Summoning Sickness. Then you pass the turn, you untap, you remove a time counter, you can attack with your 6/6. You pass the turn, you untap, you remove a time counter, and you sacrifice it.
Yeah.
So you get it for one turn.
Yeah.
Well, you can block with it and then attack with it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that's actually not so bad in the right kind of deck.
There's also a kicker
Ooh.
for 4, which is if the kicker was paid, Ravaging Riftworm comes into play with 3 additional time counters.
Oh, that's super good.
So that makes it
Unfortunately, you're paying 7 for a 6/6.
Yeah, then you're paying 7 for a 6/6 that only sticks around for 5 turns.
Oh no, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought it came in with. I thought it was only a 2-drop.
Nope.
No, it's 1
Well,
3.
it's a 3
It's
drop,
1 green, yeah. So
Oh, okay. I thought it was 1 green and 1.
Man, look at
and
all
I
this
was like, all
sweet
right,
artwork.
it's fine.
Lost Auramancers.
Yo, man, wizard.
2 white for a 3/3 with Vanishing 3. When Lost Auramancers is put into a graveyard from play, if it had no time counters on it, you may search, which means what that means is if it goes into the graveyard because of the vanishing thing, if it dies while it still has a counter on it, if your opponent kills it or it dies in combat, this doesn't happen. But if it dies because the vanishing thing goes away, then you may search your library for an enchantment card and put it into play.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a cycle of these things.
It takes a while, though.
So we were up against one last night in the draft that it was a 3/1 black creature that had 3 time counters on it, and if you let it vanish, if you let it tick down and vanish, then the opponent got a 6/1 with Shroud.
Well,
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's exciting.
Huh.
Ooh,
Nacatl War Pride.
Nacatl War Pride.
Kitty Warriors.
So this is kind of interesting. It's a 3/3 for 3 green. Nacatl War Pride must be blocked by exactly 1 creature, if able.
Weird.
Whenever it attacks, put X tokens into play, tapped and attacking, that are copies of Nacatl War Pride,
Whoa!
where X is the number of creatures defending player controls.
What?
Remove the tokens from the game at the end of turn.
That's weird.
So you attack. So your opponent's got 3 defenders, not creatures with defenders.
creatures.
He's got 3 creatures that can block. You attack with the War Pride. You get 2 others, and each of those creatures has to block 1 copy of Nacatl War Pride.
Only if they're able to.
Yes.
Right? I assume if they attack and have like 6 creatures out.
Oh yeah. Because the number of creatures. So if they have stuff that's tapped, you still get a token for each one of their creatures that's tapped, or each one of their creatures that can't block for some reason.
That
Like
could
if
be
you've
pretty
like
sweet.
if you've managed to like put like pacifism effects on some of their creatures and they can't
Womp
block, but you still get a token for that.
Or they just have like a bunch of 1/1s or something like that.
Yeah.
You could probably win the game with this guy.
Like,
Seems pretty
turn
sweet.
6, you put this guy out. Turn 7, are there trample effects?
Ooh, spicy.
Overrun.
Or like
No!
turn 7, actually marshalling cry.
Overrun wouldn't work because it's a sorcery that you would have to cast before the attack step.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so marshalling cry doesn't even work in this case.
No.
Because it's a sorcery.
But anything. All right. Let's see what the rare is.
Oh!
Not a goif, but
Oh man!
not a goif, but very good. Not a goif.
Oh, this
but
guy's so good.
Venser, Shaper Savant. He's super sweet. So he's a 2/2 for 2 blue. Legendary creature, human wizard. This is Venser before he was a planeswalker. With flash, so you get to flash him at any time. When Venser Shaper Savant comes into play, return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand.
This guy is so good.
So you can play him as a bounce, or you can play him as a remand, a counter spell that puts the spell back in their hand. He's pretty sweet,
Right?
And you can do disgusting things with this guy in cube.
Yeah.
He's really, really good.
Sweet.
Oh
Shit,
man,
I need one of those guys for my mass.
well, there we go.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, Venser is super, super good.
Windmill Slam Venser.
wham.
This is a sweet pack.
Yeah, no, it's,
Yeah.
it's a good pack.
Future
I like
Sight
it.
is so weird. It's
It
so there's so many cards that you're just like, what? Like there's so many cards that do things all on their own, and that is that new art?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's from
he was from
FTV20.
FTV20
Oh, cool.
because like there's no card like him.
He's worth about $10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Cha-ching.
All right, that was a sweet pack.
Yeah.
So speaking of awesome cards, let's talk about
Spoilers.
I can't see where that spider went.
spoilers. I went down there.
Oh, good. He's coming for us.
It's fine.
Anytime.
So we're well into spoiler season for Journey into Nyx, and I'm super, super excited. We do indeed, because we had some people asking on the stream, we do indeed have a spoiler card, and it'll be going up the night of the 16th, because the 17th is our day to
No,
spoil.
we won't tell you what it is prematurely.
No, because then we'll never have another spoiler card again.
Yeah,
And neither will you.
they have a whole system for this. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's just jump right in and look at these gods. Irose seems super
Yeah, he's,
gross in draft, and could
I think
work.
He could work in constructed.
Constructed?
As like
Yeah.
a one of maybe.
So
What deck would he go into?
Just,
Well, like-
just as a reminder about what we're discussing.
Oh right.
I was gonna say, yeah.
We're skipping the black-white god because we don't know what the spoiler for that is, but that could be out by the time this podcast comes out.
Yeah, and same with Farika. We don't know what Farika and Athreos are at the time that we're recording this because we're recording it on, assuming the date is accurate, on the 12th?
I'm trying to look at the screen and see what else we don't
The
know.
11th?
but-
I thought the 11th was yesterday. All right, anyway. So, Irose, he's a 7/4 for 4 mana.
Meh.
With
Like, I am very meh on playing the gods as creatures because the chances of them being creatures is pretty low.
Yeah.
well, it depends.
Well, I mean, I did a sealed deck with Xenagos once that worked out really well for me, but like most of the time I am very much with like the Brian Wong school of I'm only evaluating this on its strength as an enchantment because the creature is a nice to have, living the dream, and not guaranteed.
Yeah, but the reason I think Irose is crazy is because his abilities, beyond the indestructible and the standard demigod devotion thing of if your thing is 7, if your devotion is 7, of which Irose counts for 2 of, then he becomes a creature, etc., is all your creatures get madcap skills, which is to say that they can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures.
Which makes combat math just the worst.
Yeah, and you don't care about combat math because you're prevent all damage that would be dealt to your attacking creatures.
Oh, if your
You just
opponent,
flunge every turn. This is a flunge machine. You're just like, I attack with everyone. I don't care because
if
my
you-
guys won't die.
if your opponent has been like making like the Voltron, he is so boned.
Oh yeah, it's ruined.
It's like rut-row.
So this guy seems very, very strong
Yeah, I think
in limited.
he's-
I could be wrong, but I like that. Both those abilities, just being like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah, like Goblin War Drums and what's the other? What would the other one be?
Gruul War Chant.
Yeah, I guess so. Seems pretty solid.
I could see this guy showing up in constructed.
I enjoyed getting sort of a red-green aggro deck in Dragon's Maze that had Gruul War Chant on 4, and just because like play a 2-drop, swing in, play a 3-drop, and then on turn 4 play this thing, and they couldn't block either of the 2 guys that they've been dealing with previously, and this is a lot better because then he could eventually become a creature. So he seems sweet. So Cam, I want to talk to you about Keranos.
Now the prevent all damage that is dealt to your creatures while attacking helps him become a creature a lot faster because you're not trading off your guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So You sounded kind of underwhelmed by Keranos on Twitter, which surprised me because to me he seems super cool.
Is it mode?
Yeah.
So he's indestructible. He's what are his power toughness? I can't and casting cost. I can't quite remember.
6'5".
He's a 6'5".
He's 3 and.
Oh, it's a
3 blue
5
red.
drop.
Okay, so he's a
Yeah.
5 drop for 6'5". So him being a 5 drop is of course less good and all that stuff. But if you draw when you draw the first card that you would draw on any given turn, so typically that'll just be
on your turn.
yeah.
It's only on your
Oh,
turn.
it's only on your turn? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, so the first card you draw on your turn, which is usually just going to be the card that you draw for your draw step. But the first card you draw, you reveal it. If it's a land, you draw a card. So meaning if you get a land, you also get the next card as well, which helps you not just flood out and
so if
draw.
you drew 3 land in a row, then you're just going to draw 3 land this turn, eh?
Oh. I didn't think
it's
of it.
only
that-
on the
No,
first
no.
card.
It's
It's only the first card that you draw. So
Yeah, so
you
it's
You
not.
just chain it through your deck.
no, so you draw a card and reveal it, and if it's a land, you put that into your hand, and then you draw another card, and that's so then you're drawing 2 cards there. Or if it's not a land, you get a lightning bolt. You just lightning bolt a creature, dome them to the face. That seems pretty sweet to me.
Yeah. Well, like okay.
It's not as dumb as an Is It God could have been. It could have been real lame.
Yeah. Well, when I saw God of Storms, I was, super
Oh, right.
excited. But okay, so both those abilities are very good. My concern is that you play this guy on turn 5.
Yeah.
Is It decks generally aren't creature heavy, so you play this guy turn 5.
Probably
He
never
comes
going to
down,
become a
he
god.
is
Never
not a
gonna be
creature.
Right.
Be a real boy.
So you're playing a 5 mana enchant that does something during your next draw step,
Right.
and at this point you are shields down.
Ugh.
Right, with none
Yeah.
of your Is It decks want to be playing. Well, I mean,
Well, they always want to hold up mana for burn or counter
yeah,
spells.
if you're playing the counter burn deck, then you are shields down. You have none of your control elements available, and then next draw step you get to lightning bolt something. Hopefully,
Maybe.
Right.
or like
Or,
Also,
or,
this guy
or
wants-
draw a card.
also this guy wants to be scrying stuff, right? So you have to have some kind of non-mana related scry ability. So maybe you also get Thassa out.
Right.
Earlier, and then you scry off her, and she contributes to Keranos' devotion, say.
This is a world of dreams and hopes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, this guy in Limited seems okay.
It's not
Right.
something I would highly pick.
Like, you could
I
win
think-
the game with him
He
later
seems
on.
like fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
he does
got
seem
ya.
fun. Like, there's that element of inevitability to this guy.
Oh, yeah,
Where you are either drawing cards, but more the ideal case is that you're just, like, lightning bolting their creatures every turn, or doming them out.
No.
Right? However, I think in Constructed, like for Standard, this guy wants to go into the Blue Devotion deck, obviously.
Yeah.
Right?
For Commander, this guy seems
Yeah.
good.
I mean, you can. The thing is,
Actually, there's faster ways to draw cards.
argument-
and bolt stuff.
Yeah.
the argument that they would be good in Commander applies to every one of these gods and is perfectly valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what Commander is.
Yeah. Like,
So there's no way that there won't be a cool Commander deck with Keranos. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Honestly, the more I
But
think
the other
about this
stuff-
card, though, the more sort of I'm like, meh.
yeah.
Like that was the same thing. Like that was the thing that I was having trouble with Karametra is people being like, "Oh, she's great in Commander." I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's dull.
Yeah.
This certainly seems like a more exciting ability, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bunch of good points, Cam. That it's like sort of, oh yeah, okay, that's not amazing in that kind of deck.
Next row down.
Wait, one more god.
One more god that's been spoiled so far, Crewfix. Now, Crewfix seems pretty cool
So
to
this
me.
is the
What does this guy
blue-green
do?
god.
Similar problems, but okay. So he has stats and casting cost, and he's indestructible and devotion god thing, all that. But from the blue side, you have no maximum hand size, so that's fun. From the green side of things, if mana
Right.
would empty from your mana pool between phases, it becomes colorless instead, meaning it doesn't empty from your mana pool.
Yeah, it just sticks around.
So if you have mana up at the end of your opponent's turn, you just tap out and float all your mana, and then it becomes colorless mana still in your mana pool. You take your turn, you untap. Now you have all your untapped mana and all that colorless mana.
That's mega ramp.
Yeah, and it stays there through combat, through to the next turn.
Yeah.
Like if you could build up to like some goofy huge Hydra or whatever. It's like the takeaway is the mana doesn't go away as long as you don't use it.
This is, again, a card that's going to be super sweet in Commander.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Again, in Constructed, it's like you play this guy, you tap out, next turn, you float all your mana. The turn after that, you start to see a benefit from it.
Like,
you cast some big-ass Hydra.
I could see this guy being fun in that blue-green standard deck that just flashes in all its creatures, because that deck just holds back. And
with the Prophet of Crewfix?
I don't think it even plays Prophet of Crewfix, because all the creatures have flash.
Oh, the creatures have flash themselves.
It plays like that insect from Ravnica that is the 2/2 flash pro blue.
Oh, Lash
And
Wraith.
like the coast.
No, not Lash Wraith. Sky Lasher.
Yeah, Sky
And
Lasher.
then whatever that Chimera is.
Yeah,
the blue-green one.
Yeah, the blue-green
Oh,
Chimera.
yeah, the Horizon
and then it
Chimera.
plays Howlpack Alpha.
Oh, wow.
And like it plays a bunch of really sweet creatures.
Sounds like a sweet deck.
Yeah,
it actually is.
I want to play
It
this.
seems like the green side's the good side for this right now.
Yeah.
Like the no maximum hand size is kind of fun.
Yeah. But like I think he suffers from some of the same problems as Keranos, where you play him out on curve, right? You're tapped out. Next turn, you don't do anything to max out the ability. Right. And then the turn after that, you get to cast like something for 14 mana.
I like the idea though that it's like you play him and and then you still play something your next turn, but maybe you're not using all the mana. So he's giving you like incremental advantage.
Like, if you get to keep up like 1 mana a turn, maybe this guy feels pretty good.
So I don't know, but there's what?
But unlike the red-white god, who immediately affects the board as soon as you play him, suddenly things are a lot better for you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
these guys are definitely going for the long game, but sometimes we don't know how fast it's going to be with Journey into Nyx and Theros and Born of the Gods. And it might be a lot slower, so maybe these cards aren't as bad as we think they are, but I'm sort of evaluating it from there's a lot of fast decks in
probably
Theros.
won't be that much slower.
I mean, you never know.
So the concern with you play it and you don't get the effect right away, there's a bunch of cards through the years that sort of have that problem, that it's like you play something that affects both players and it takes your whole turn to cast this thing, and then your opponent goes and they're the first person that gets to actually use it. So they've sort of kind of fixed that, because they have a cycle of enchantments in this set that are almost functional reprints of previous things, but they have flash. So you can cast them at the end of your opponent's turn and you get the first thing. So there's like a Heartbeat of Spring, where anytime a player taps land for mana, they get twice that much mana, but it has flash. So you're not spending your whole turn casting this thing and then passing to your opponent, where suddenly they have infinite mana. There's a
Furnace of Wrath?
And a Howling Mine, and I don't know what the other ones are, but so for example, the Howling Mine reprint, not reprint, but I don't recall what it's called. It's 1 blue, and players draw an additional card on their turn, but it has flash. So at the end of your opponent's turn, you go whoop, flash this in. You get to draw the 2 cards first.
2 cards?
Well, 1 for your turn and 1 from the thing. What's this one actually called, Paul?
Dictate of Crewfix.
Right, Dictate of Crewfix.
And the other one is
Dictate of
Dictate of
Karametra.
Dictate of Karametra. Nice. Yeah, they're all. And there's Dictate. Oh, there's Dictate of the Twin Gods too.
Dictate of Twin Gods.
Mogus and Irose.
No, Perforos has a twin.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fun fact.
Welp.
Yeah. And that's it doubles the damage.
That's damage dealt by a source deals double that damage, which is the old Furnace of Wrath effect. Have they done the other dictates yet? Looking like not. So, but I think that's really cool, because the problem with these things, the problem, they were always very powerful, and presumably you'd be putting them in a deck that could maximize it, and presumably your opponent had a deck that could not necessarily maximize it. But especially with the Dictate of Karametra, when you look at something like Heartbeat of Spring or Mirari's Wake, you're in a position where, or like, I don't know, like Caged Sun or something. Well, not Caged Sun only affected you, but I think Mirari's Wake only affected you as well. Okay, Heartbeat of Spring is the one I'm talking about, where you would cast it, and it would take your whole turn to cast this enchantment, and then you pass it over to your opponent, and they get to double all their mana for that turn. And it's like, this isn't the best.
Spend a lot of time making your life better and my life kind of worse.
Yeah, whereas this, at least you get the first crack at it. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're not too expensive. Like, I don't really feel that bad, like maybe in a later turn, about
like
holding back 3 mana.
Like Dictate of Crewfix is how much to cast?
3, you said?
Crewfix is 3. Dictative Karametra is 5.
So dictative Crewfix 3. So say you do this on curve, right? So you turn 3, you play your third land, you pass the turn. Hopefully you have a 2-drop.
Or maybe you're holding up a counter spell as well.
So end of your opponent's turn, you cast 3, you play this. You untap, you play a land, you've got 8 mana on turn 4. That is sweet.
Yeah.
That is
Crewfix
super
doesn't
cool.
double your mana.
No, the Crewfix is the double draw.
Double draw.
I meant Karametra, I'm sorry.
In which
Karametra's
case it's
5.
It's 5. It's a 5-drop.
Okay.
See, the Dictative Karametra is not as good because,
Let me-
like, if I'm playing a
Let me
green-white
rephrase
deck,
let me rephrase that whole thing.
I want to cast creatures.
Yeah, but
Get some credits.
then you can play a ton of creatures on turn 6 because you'll have 12 mana.
How much stuff do I have in my hand by turn 6?
I don't know. I think it's sweet.
I don't think it's great and limited.
Well, probably not. No, it's probably really bad and limited.
I
I'm
mean,
just talking.
it's
I'm
an
just talking
amazing-
in general.
Yeah, well, it's a good in Commander.
I don't know. I could see there being an interesting standard deck, like a B tier standard deck.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
Like I actually, so far what I want out of these spoilers is to go back and revisit that blue-green flash deck.
So, Alex, you wanted to talk about Strive.
yeah. So the first card that really caught my interest in these new spoilers is it Launch the Fleet?
Launch the fleets.
Launch the Fleet. So
What does Strive do?
Well,
It's kind of like Replicate.
it's a little bit like Replicate, and it's a little bit like Multi-Kicker, but it's just a bit different. Strive is you have a spell that has a target
Or does a thing.
or does a thing, and then you have a cost that you can pay to add
to have a target.
to have more targets,
Yeah.
and you pay that cost for each target. So Launch the Fleet is 1 white for a sorcery with Strive for 1 colorless, and every creature you target with this until end of turn gains the ability where when they attack, they put an attacking soldier token into play, which is pretty spicy. So it's like, I've got all these dudes, let's just launch the fleet on them all, turn them sideways, and I have twice as many dudes now.
You also target each of those
Yeah.
creatures.
Oh, so heroic.
Yeah.
Like how can you stack the triggers on this one? Can you put in your soldiers first and then apply heroic abilities, or like I think your heroic abilities go on the stack first, right? Because that happens as you target.
They do.
Resolve the spell.
Yeah.
So you can't like put in a bunch of soldier tokens and then get like
Pump them.
phalanx leader them all.
Oh, right. Yeah, you can't. That's true. You wouldn't be able to do that.
I don't know. Those
But still,
spell,
it'd be
like-
pretty sweet.
It's a kind of a cool white weenie overrun. I think it's going to be really good in any sort of white weenie strategy.
Oh, as you're
cool.
comparing it to a Replicate, Paul?
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting that the difference between Strive and Replicate is fairly subtle, right? Because Replicate is you copy the spell and you can choose a new target, and Strive is just you add a new target. So the only real difference is that you're not getting any more actual spells on the stack.
Yeah, I think
Which is
this-
interesting if you have a
Worse in
counterspell.
Storm.
Well, no, I think Strive might have an ability where, or depending on how you look at Strive, you can't cast it more often than you have targets for it. Whereas Replicate, you could just
You can cast as
I-
much as you want.
yeah, I target this thing 75 times.
That's true. You do need targets for each time you Strive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So maybe it's just sort of like a slightly fixed Replicate.
yeah. 'Cause
Not
I
that
remember
Replicate was ever busted in the first
but there
place.
was like some weird corner cases where you could just cast like a Replicate spell 60
Cam,
times
get
or
up on the
something.
mic.
You're,
Right,
You're soft spoken. And
Right.
you need to get up on
right.
it.
All of them.
I'm super gunned about the new sort of Spirit Away kind of quasi reprint.
Buh?
So Spirit Away, right? It's a
Great Miyazaki movie.
I was gonna say it's like,
that's Spirited Away. Spirit Away is a mind control, but the creature gets flying.
oh right.
So there's the Hypnotic Siren, which is
Yeah.
a 1/1 flyer for 1.
I was waiting for
Meh.
this card.
But the Bestow
Yawn.
is 5 blue.
Oh,
You control target creature. It gets +1/+1 and has
Like-
flying.
Oh,
I
so
was
it's
really waiting for this card.
Yeah.
something like this, a bestow mind
It
control.
seems awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The cost is pretty steep.
That's
But
is that
it's still a mind control that pumps it and gives it flying.
Paul? Could you look up Spirit Away? I think it's actually the same casting cost.
I think it is too.
And I don't even think Spirit Away gave it a +1/+1. So this is a little weaker because it's also an enchantment. But no, actually that doesn't matter because Spirit Away was an enchantment as well. Yeah, this is from what set again? This is for Avacyn Restored.
Avacyn Restored, they get +2/+2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But when you destroy the enchantment, you don't get a bird.
Yeah, and this one you get a 1/1 afterwards, which is like pretty fun. Cool. Yeah, someone was saying, do you think this goes in the Blue Devotion deck? And I totally don't think so, because right now the Blue Devotion deck is playing Judge's Familiar, which actually has some more utility as a 1-drop.
Yeah, you're also gonna take a while to get there.
Did you see Worst Fears?
Yeah.
Did you see Worst Fears, Cam?
Mindslaver sorcery.
I don't think so.
7 and a black for a mythic sorcery. You control target player during that player's next turn, then exile Worst Fears.
So this is an effect we've seen on a couple of different cards, like Mindslaver, Sorin, but it's never just been a spell on its own.
Right.
So it's interesting.
I like the wording. It's not you control target player's next turn. It's you control target player during their next turn.
It's just like you
do this. What? Oh,
Concede.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
you can't.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Judge?
No.
My opponent is slow playing. You're controlling me.
Yes, and you are slow playing.
I would like my opponent disqualified from this tournament, please.
Clock him out.
Yeah.
Just clock them straight out.
I control you during this turn. Go get me a steak.
Speaking of spells that do things that we've kind of seen before, Sage of Hours.
Oh, dear.
This guy seems really abusable.
I don't know. This guy was like another card I was waiting for. Like the
He wants to
the
be-
terrible blue mythic.
Well,
So
he's
he's
like
a-
Echo Mage, right?
Yeah, so he's a 1/1 for 1 and a blue with Heroic whenever you cast a spell that targets and put a +1/+1 counter on it. That actually seems pretty all right for blue.
Okay, that's fine.
Remove all +1/+1 counters.
Okay.
For every 5 counters removed this way, take an additional turn after this one.
Blah. No.
See, okay, so
Really?
this guy is like an infinite turn combo with only like 5 moving parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I've got like doubling season, and my Panoptic Mirror has like a heroic spell that puts +1/+1 counters on guys. So every upkeep, I'll like put 5 counters on him,
Someone
and then
actually-
I'll take another turn and I win the game.
Someone actually worked out a standard combo that only has four cards inclusive.
Only 4.
So like Karametra's whatever.
No, it was this guy, a Johnny,
Yeah.
and 2 copies of Forced Adaptation, which is a 1-drop green enchantment from Ravnica block that every upkeep the creature gets a +1/+1 counter. So on the turn you play it, target, and a Johnny, give him 5 counters, blow it off. Next turn he gets 2, target with a Johnny,
Well,
blow it off. You just go forever.
Also, wasn't there a
We'll talk about new Johnny soon, by the
I
way.
was going to say
Wasn't
it's
there a
Bant
Rav-
Dirtle Knot.
what was the Azorius aura from Ravnica that gave the creature like +X, but I don't know if it was like +X. It might have been +X counters.
I don't remember.
Cards you control, draw cards. It was a rare aura.
Authority, something authority.
Yeah, aura of authority. I think.
Righteous authority?
Righteous authority. Yeah.
What does that do? Are we completely out to lunch
Yeah,
here?
I think I'm totally. I don't think that works at all with this.
I'm gonna look it up.
Righteous Authority is an enchantment for 5, and it's enchant creature.
Oh, it's not counters.
No.
It gets +1/+1 for each card in its controller's hand. But you have to count it up each time.
Yeah.
Darn.
It's not counters.
No. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like, is there a Bant infinite turn stack? I guess so.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be Bant Dirtle Knot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sorry.
Just you wait.
I'm sorry. The twin gods are Irose and Mogus. I'm sorry.
Oh, Lore Win.
Sorry, Cam.
Wait, what?
Perforos does have a brother, though. I guess they're just not twins.
So the red, white, and the red, black gods are twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't wait?
One is a Minotaur and one's a Centaur.
They are as different in appearance as they are in personality. Is the
So
flavor
one of them
text.
got
Oh,
the
they're
head,
like-
one of them got the feet.
So, oh, that's weird. So they're like those brewing brothers that do McKellar and Evil Twin.
Yeah, exactly like that. Also, this is only a common, but I just want to say, Satyr Hoplite, we finally got there. They finally got the 1-drop heroic red card that we were waiting for.
Yeah.
Which
It is a 1/1
drop,
for
1/1 for 1.
Yeah.
Target it +1/+1.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's all you want. I want Windmill Slam this over Echo and Crusader. This is
Yeah.
way better.
Yeah, like, wasn't Red Deck Wins kind of waiting for this card also
Yeah.
in Standard?
Exactly.
Like, Rakdos Cackler, okay.
No, this guy's way
but,
better.
Yeah.
There's a black 1-drop that's sort of similar. It's like part of that ongoing cycle of 2 1s for 1.
Mm-hmm.
He's not so bad.
Oh, so yeah, this is interesting. There's a cycle of bestow creatures that give your creature a negative as well. So yeah, the gnarled Scarhide. It's a 2/1 for 1, but it can't block.
Yeah.
And it bestows for 3 and a black. The creature gets +2/+1 and can't block.
Mm-hmm.
But don't forget, in a pinch, if you're swinging for lethal,
Yeah, just
you could bestow this on your opponent's creature.
Sometimes you want a 4-mana Unholy Strength.
No, but you could bestow this on your opponent's creature, and then it can't block.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Get fucked.
I didn't think of that.
So the Crystalline Nautilus is a 4/4 for 2 and a blue,
Yep.
but it has the illusion ability. Whenever it becomes a target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Bestows for 3 blue. Bestow it on your opponent's creature, target it, they have to sacrifice it. The bestow falls off, you get your 4/4 back.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's super
sorry,
cool.
I didn't even think about that interaction with Brawler. So yeah, that's going right into my mono black deck.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's more 2 1s for 1, but wow.
Also, Constellation is the other mechanic that we should talk about.
Yeah.
So it's whenever the creature with Constellation or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, something happens.
Serge is going to be so excited for this mechanic.
Oh yeah,
in his Enchantress
this
Commander
card,
deck?
the Eidolon of Blossoms, slams right into. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll talk about that one first. Paul's got Doomgate Giant up.
Doomgate Giant?
Doomwake Giant. Sorry. Doomwake Giant is a 4/6 for 4 and a black. Does it stop right there? That's sweet for black.
Yeah.
A 4/6 for 4 and a black. That's awesome.
That's fine. That's good. I'll take
Wasn't
it.
that double Centaur? Or double zombie Minotaur from
Yep.
14?
I think that was actually 6 mana.
Dubs
Right.
Minotaur.
I think, yeah.
Honestly,
It was. That was 4 black.
Right.
I'm gonna give this guy a Windmill Slam just based on the vanilla test.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want a 4/6.
So the constellation is whenever Doomwake Giant or another enchantment creature, or another enchantment, not enchantment creature, another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 till end of turn.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Get
So
Yikes.
get out of here, Red Deck.
black-white draft strategy with that guy that puts soldier tokens into play when he untaps.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah.
So, like,
the
one-
God Favored General, you get
Yeah.
2 enchantment tokens.
Yeah. One-sided Shrivel actually seems pretty good.
Yep.
This guy's like almost good enough for constructed.
Yep.
Or wait, even the black zombie guy puts 2 zombies into play.
Oh yeah, the Sudama.
Yeah.
The forlorn Sudamama.
Sudamama.
Because she's got the weird little zombie babies.
Ew.
Yeah, they're really creepy looking.
Ew.
But so the green one, the Eidolon of Blossoms, is a 2/2 for 2 green, and the constellation is whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card.
Sick.
So this is the Enchantress thing, like what was the original one? The
Argothian Enchantress. She's like a 0/1 with Shroud, and every time
You play an enchantment.
yeah, you draw a card.
And then there was the color shifted one, which we were talking about earlier in Planar
Mesa
Chaos.
Enchantress?
Was the Mesa Enchantress.
Yeah.
And then there was a core Enchantress that did it with auras.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, but this seems like it's a absolutely no thought, like just brainless auto include in that deck of surges. Like
Yep.
this seems super sweet.
Yeah, he may have trouble finding cuts for that, but
Yeah. And Monstrosity's back.
Yay.
Hooray.
I really like Monstrosity actually.
I think it makes a lot of sense that it wasn't in the other set, but I think it's cool that it's back now in this one. There's some really exciting
weird-
Also,
cards.
can we talk
Pearl.
about
Oh, it's
my
the
favorite
starfish.
All right, let's talk
Yeah.
about let's talk about
This guy.
the Scry fish.
Sigiled starfish?
So he's a 0/3 for 1 and a blue,
Yep.
and you tap him to Scry 1.
Yep. that's not
So
all.
sweet.
He just sits there.
Yeah. Just turn the starfish
Spin
through
it.
a C5 operation, right? I don't know. I
Just
my
say
dream
spin
play
the
in this-
fish.
My dream play in this set is to bestow the vigilance aura on this guy and fight you with
Yeah,
a,
'cause he
with a
doesn't have
2/5
defender.
and then like tap to scry one and just like value and it's terrible and it's
But it's-
awful and your opponent just like face palms.
But you win with Starfish.
Yeah,
But you're so happy.
Sometimes like Kraken Hatchling just needs to strap on like Trusty Machete, right, and get in.
I love
right?
it.
Same thing with this guy.
So there's
Right? Sometimes Sigiled Starfish just needs to put on Godsend. Right?
there's three more cards I want to talk about before we wrap up today. One of them, so we've mentioned Commander a couple times. This one is just going to be amazing in Commander, and honestly, would be fine in Limited as well. I think it's the Hall of Triumph. It is a 3-mana legendary artifact, which I think is a good casting cost for this. As it enters the battlefield, choose a color. Creatures you control of that color get +1/+1.
Oh, that's fantastic.
All right. All right.
So that's easily going into a Commander deck.
Well, it's just like a colorless anthem.
Yeah, for 3, which is
no, you know what this is? It's basically Gaia's Anthem, only colorless.
because Guy's Anthem was you pick a color, right?
No, it's just creatures you control get +1/+1. But
Oh,
if you're
okay.
playing like a monocolored deck, it's the same effect. So yeah,
But
no,
this
that
seems
good.
This seems sweet.
Yeah. I mean, especially for decks that don't get a lot of anthems. Like blue.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
basically is like Merfolk Tribal.
Fairy
Gets anthem
tribal.
effects, but yeah, or Fairy Tribal gets anthem effects, but otherwise like you're paying a lot for not high power toughness.
So some people were saying that it was funny that they were listening to the previous podcast, or 2 episodes back actually, while we were talking about a Johnny, because he hadn't been spoiled yet. And he has been spoiled, and I was right. And he's Selesnya, and I think that's awesome. So
yeah,
this is
you guys finally get one.
it's a Johnny, Mentor of Heroes.
Rawr.
And I think he's pretty cool. Like he's not like F-busted, but they've managed to stop making Planeswalkers completely effing broken,
Well,
which
they're
is
just
good.
they're a lot more cautious about it.
Yeah,
because
they don't
want Jace to happen again.
Yeah, but this guy seems sweet. I like that he doesn't have a minus.
Yeah, that's usually pretty great. Or it's
So
just like
he's 3 green-white for it comes down with 4 loyalty, and you can +1 him right away. So he's going to be
goes to 5.
he's going to go to 5. His +1 is distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control.
Now, keyword here being target, so heroic, just ding,
Actually,
ding, ding,
no.
ding.
No, because it's an ability, not a spell.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
but
thought it because it said target he was
I
targeting.
wanted to live the dream.
but
I wanted to live the dream.
the fact that you can spread it out or just put 3 counters on one thing.
Like,
Is
you can
really
put
sweet.
3 counters on that guy that might eventually get you another turn.
Well, that yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, haha, you're dead now.
But I mean,
You'll be dead next turn.
I don't see any situation where this is going to be bad. It's like I've got 1 creature. All right, he's huge. I've got 3 creatures. They're all slightly bigger and they're harder for you to deal with. Like that seems
That's
great.
sweet. And then his second ability is also really good.
Yeah. So it's +1, and it's you were saying this is basically impulse.
Yeah,
You
it's like
look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an aura, creature, or planeswalker from among them and put them into your.
house or Planeswalker.
Yep. Aura, creature, or planeswalker.
Like you're gonna hit on that.
You should.
Yeah.
Or put it into and then you put it into your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Now, are bestow creatures
They are creatures.
auras when
Yes.
they are in your deck?
Are they?
Paul is nodding.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're creatures and auras, so it doesn't matter.
okay. Sweet.
So yeah, no, like that's
The
like
chances of whiffing on that are minuscule.
+1 impulse is pretty great.
Yeah.
Well, and if you do completely whiff and just draw 4 land,
No, bestow creatures are not auras when they're
Oh, really?
but
Yeah.
they're still
Okay.
creatures.
they are
That's
they
fine.
yeah. If you cast this card for its bestow cost, it is an aura spell with enchant creature.
Yeah.
Right.
When it's in your deck, it is just an enchantment creature. It is
Yeah,
not an aura.
Kathleen-
So you can't find bestow creatures.
Yeah.
If you ripped
If you rip
Yeah,
4
it's a-
land,
Yeah, but it's
Force-
still a
well,
creature.
You're
Yeah.
shipping them anyway.
exactly.
Because
So
otherwise you would be in hell.
Yeah.
yeah, so like even in the worst case
I don't
scenario
know.
is not bad.
I don't know why I got so caught up in that. It was totally irrelevant. Sorry.
That's okay.
Anyway, and as you can see on the screen there, his -8 is the wonderfully, wonderfully hilarious gain 100 life.
Skull crack.
Deal
What
with it.
now?
Well, and then like I saw somebody tweeting.
Not
Filthy.
Feel bad.
I saw someone tweeting saying I would be the like to the tune of 500 miles, and I would be the player who gained 100 life, and then I would gain 100 more just to gain 200 life and not affect the board.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he seems sweet. Like, yeah.
Are you ever going to gain 100 life off this guy?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're too busy doing good stuff.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna be someone's
You'll
gonna be in a draft
I'm
game.
at 10. Better go to 110.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's going to be, I think it would be a situation where you're like, I moved combat step, swing for, no, wait, hold on. First off, I blow off all of Johnny's counters to get 100.
Well,
Yeah.
just like
And
the
just,
one
victory
time.
lap you, and then I attack.
Yeah, no, the one
right?
time you do that against mono red, and you just see the despair.
Yeah.
Just the like.
Feldikar Sovereign? Yeah.
Someone's gonna be
Cat combo.
someone's gonna be in a game like a game of sealed or something. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be this massive deadlock on the board, and then someone goes, "Oh yeah," just gains 100 life, and then just starts attacking because they don't care anymore.
Graham, false cure. Dome for 200.
So I guess we're going to see a resurgence of, like, Necropotence combo here.
Wow.
Mentor of Heroes.
And then last card.
Doran. Yeah, what the hell?
Last card I want to talk about today is this one, Alex. What
Hey.
is up with Mana Confluence?
Well, they took City of Brass and fixed it
Yeah.
because the difference is very subtle.
So City of Brass is a card from Arabian Nights.
Arabian Nights, yeah.
And it's tapped to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
But
Whenever
Anytime-
it becomes
yeah.
tapped, it deals 1 damage to you.
For any reason.
So
So
if
you-
someone does...
like somebody twiddles it.
Yeah, so if somebody Rashidin ports
Rashidin
you,
port.
if somebody like twiddles it, somebody
Icy manipulator. I
yeah,
think we were talking about
then you're
before.
just like groan.
You're like, now I don't
This-
get my mana and I have to pay life.
This land is almost the same thing but better because tap, pay a life, make a mana of any color.
It seems awesome.
It's actually gonna. I think it's gonna replace every copy of City of Brass in like every Legacy deck that plays it.
Yeah,
Like
because
that card's just like, see ya.
This
Yeah.
is
Strictly
like
better.
it's functionally identical, but there is possibilities where City of Brass could have a downside, and this fixes that.
So if you open one of these, congratulations. It's probably going to be worth quite a bit of money.
Like I don't think it's gonna be crazy, but
No,
it's,
but
like,
it's the
it's
kinda-
gonna be
it's
like
gonna
a
be-
stable.
It will be a
decent
card that will
amount.
hold its value.
I think so.
Yeah. Like, City of Brass is what?
I don't know actually.
$10,
Is
I
it?
think. Still,
I thought it was
Like
more than that. I
7
don't know.
or 8
Well,
maybe?
they did reprint a bunch of them in Modern Masters.
Yeah, I don't think City of Brass was that much.
Also, now you can play 8 City of Brass.
It's true. Louis Scott Vargas wrote a great article on the Mothership a couple days ago about Mana Confluence and how it will affect, or how he theorizes it will affect Standard. So you should definitely check that out because the mana bases in Standard are nut bar right now.
Yeah.
And this can definitely help smooth that out in decks that don't care about the life loss. And once Ravnica block rotates in the fall, we'll be losing all the shock lands in Standard, and this will help a lot.
Yeah.
What's up, Paul?
City of Brass in Arabian Nights is like $40, but that's just because it's Arabian Nights. Any other version is like $4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so Mana Confluence
soon
is
to
not
be
going to
$1.
Yeah, Mana Confluence is not going to be like crazy high, but
It's gonna
certainly
like,
around
stick
release
there.
it'll probably be like $10.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's
It
what's
should also look really pretty in foil.
oh, it's going to look gorgeous in foil. So that's what's been spoiled from Journey to Next so far. I'm super excited. I mean, obviously, I'm always super excited when the new sets come out, but I'm super keen on this.
Settle down.
Also, just talk about Keranos for like 5 seconds again.
Sure.
Like, I think there's probably a play I'm going to try to make at some point for Ravnica ships where it's like you play Keranos and you've got like Electromancer on the board and you do like Dirtly counterburn stuff for a few turns. You play Keranos. Next turn, you play Niv Mizzet, and then you swing.
Yep.
Just because you'll actually have Devotion online at that point.
Oh snap.
6, 7, yeah, 8. Right, but like Niv Mizzet almost turns him on solo,
That
so
seems
any other
pretty great.
permanent probably works. So yeah, you don't play him, and he becomes a creature on the board. You play other stuff into him to turn him on.
I like that. So yeah. Journey to Nyx looks pretty sweet.
It's happening.
So I think at this point, because some people have been asking, I think I'll probably do the real life mythical origins as like a combo pack of Born of the Gods and Journey to Nyx, because I haven't done that yet. Or maybe I'll split it up still, but I don't know. Anyway, if you have anything that you would like us to talk about, please let us know. But in the meantime, hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you again next time.
Bye, everybody.
Happy playing.